Dear brothers and sisters, it's wonderful to have all of you here. As we all gather together, the synergies of being together help everyone who is in that arena. The joys of being together and being focused on the Creator are such that they not only bring joy to us but make the lives of others better too. And as we all are leading lives which are taking us closer and closer to the realities of our existence, then we find that everything else around us starts to not only look, feel, to be more calm, more peaceful, more loving, more caring. And as that happens, we all are happy. You know, God has sent us here to be happy. Many times we get under the wiles of the mind, or the difficulties, or the ups and downs of life, and start to get into times which are painful. But God wants each and every one of us to be happy. And that's why God has given us this opportunity to be with God. Because there is no state which can put us in a state of joy and happiness more than being with God. God the Creator, who is the source of all happiness, who is the source of our joy, who is the source of our peace, who is the source of our love. As we find ourselves closer and closer to God, then we also find ourselves in that state of being calm and loving and caring. And as that happens in our life, we see that the effects on everyone else whose life we touch is tremendous, and the whole environment gets better and better and better. As we look at our own lives, and as we look at how we lead our lives, what is very important is to realize that each and every one of us has the same goal. You know, our outer circumstances could be different, our karmas are different, and so our behaviors and our understandings and the way we talk and the way we react could be different. But we are all going towards the same goal. Our intentions are all good. And if we start to look at everyone else and our dealings with others from that angle, then things will be calmer for us, peaceful for us. So there won't be any anxiety in our lives. There'll be states in which we will feel comfortable, and to feel comfortable is something which is very, very useful to us. Because whenever we're in turmoil, difficulties overcome our being so that we are unable to make the right decisions. It's only in turmoil that we make decisions which are not correct. But when we are calm, we are peaceful, the decisions when we make in those states are one which are the right decisions for us, because we haven't done it under stress. We've done it only when we have taken the time to think about things. We're not in a hurry, we're not in a rush. So I think we need to look at life from a point of view that we all are going to the same goal. Okay? And as we're going to the same goal, you know, let's say the goal is there, someone is going like this, someone going like that, but we're all going there. So we all need to help each other, rather than instead of going forward, we're going backwards, we're helping each other, everyone goes up. And even though some of our outer traits might be different, our goals are the same, and so our thrust towards our goal should be such which is not only helping us but also helping everyone else in the environment. The interesting thing about our path is that we have people of various backgrounds be on the path, people of various cultures, people in different parts of the world. And so that brings a lot of interesting areas to try to put the path in our own environment. And this is where questions come in. You know, we were all living in one manner, we were all born in the same culture, we all thought one way, we all spoke one way, then maybe question would be less, because then you're used to that. But now here, someone is in New Zealand, someone's in Africa, someone's in Asia, someone's in America, someone's in Europe, some South America, or any other part of the world. And we have people from all faiths. So you can look at the combinations and permutations, and those of you who have no mathematics, how many different scenarios there could be. So for all of them to jive together, questions come up. So let's address some of the questions that came up this week.
How can we balance our spiritual practices with discharging our worldly responsibilities?
When we are in meditation and we meditate properly, we experience the divine lights, we experience many, many other vistas within, and we experience the bliss. Every pore of our being starts to be full with the love of God. And so in that state, you really don't want to come out of the meditation state. And to be in that state is tremendous. I would say, when we are in that state, we definitely are enjoying that state a lot, and we don't want to be out of the state. But our path is telling us that as we live in the world, we have some responsibilities. At the physical level, we have responsibility to our physical bodies. Okay? We have responsibility to our relationships, parents, grandparents, spouses, siblings, children, grandchildren, uncles and aunts. We have responsibilities to the community in which we live, to the countries in which we live. And so we have many, many responsibilities as we live in the world. And so we want to discharge those responsibilities in the best manner that we can. Okay? So we need to hit a happy balance between our meditative states and our responsibilities. And this path has been called the path of positive mysticism. We want to try to do our very best in all spheres of life, making sure that we are not neglecting the responsibilities which we were given as we came into this world. And so as we are meditating, we want to meditate more and more, but let's say we have a young child, so we have the needs to take care of them. Or we have an elderly parent in the family, we need to take care of them. Then we have to spend time in that direction. This is where Sant Rajinder Singh Maharaj gave us this principle, and he said if we were to take 10% of the time daily and put it to our meditative practices, and we do it sincerely and properly, then we can reach our goals. So our path is not saying that we meditate for 24 hours a day. Okay? We live in the world, we want to live off our own earnings, so we need to work. Whether we have a business, whether we work for someone else, whether we teach, which it compensates us for the efforts that we are putting in. So we need to survive on our own. Okay? This is not a path which is saying, okay, we've got these big ashrams, you can come here and just meditate 24 hours a day and everything else will be taken care of. And so we need to hit a happy balance between our responsibilities in the world and our spiritual practices. And when we start to think of it from that point of view, then we will be able to balance them. In life, many times we have to do things which are not very easy to do. Okay? But we do them out of love. All parents clean up their kids, right? It's not the most joyful thing to do, I would think. But we do it out of love, right? We don't even think about it. We do it because we love the child, we want them to be clean, we don't want them to be in a state of mess, and we do it, right? So we should think of our responsibility like that too. And say, okay, I need to do this as a part of my life and do it happily and joyously because that has been given to us, and the joys of the meditation that we are experiencing are going to be such that it will put us in that state where we can take care of our external responsibilities.
How can we overcome the fears we might experience during meditation?
I think the fear um, in meditation is because of not knowing what to expect and of having heard what it could be. Yeah. Many teachings about meditation and rising above the physical body come from the Eastern traditions. Even though when you read the writings of the great saints in, let's say, the Christian traditions or traditions coming from the West, there's a lot of talk about um, um, the journey of the soul, yeah, in the writings of the great saints. But many people today think of meditation as being like an Eastern mechanism, right, coming from the East. So the translations which have been done in the English language from over the Eastern language are such, which talk about meditation and the soul rising above physical body consciousness. So the word rising is very difficult to understand, because when you talk about rising, because they talk about the spiritual current rising from the feet and get to your ankles and then to your knees and the middle part and everything collecting here at the seat or so. So there's a question of rising, okay? And then they talk about rising above physical body consciousness. So they say, you're rising, you'll go out. So that's when you're new on the path, that's the thing that most people think. And they think, okay, I'm collecting here, so the next thing is I'm going to be going up someplace and I'll have experiences. Now going up then puts the fear, how am I going to come back? If I go up and get stranded there, and that's where the fear comes in, I think. And so for most people, what is interesting is to understand that this is not what happens. It's the same thing, let's say you've never flown in an aeroplane. And if someone not flown in an aeroplane, and you say, okay, you have to fly to get someplace, they're very afraid, because they have never been in a flight, they don't know how the plane will go, what will happen when you get up in the sky, how will you land. And so there are many inhibitions in a person if they fly or not. Same thing when you're driving a bike for the first time. You've never driven a bike and you're very afraid you'll fall down, and many people don't get on a bike for that reason. And so it's a meditation like that too in the beginning, because we're not familiar with what happens and we think that we might be going out of the body physically. We're afraid that we might not be able to handle the situation. So the key is to get a better understanding of what that process is and to realize that the experiences within are not having any connection with the physical being. The physical being is calmer, that's the fact, but it's not that something leaving the physical body. That all of these experiences are in the body. And so one of the good examples is to think about a TV and a remote control, or, in the old days, they wanted a remote control, you switch it, you have to go and click to get a different channel. That everything is there, and whatever you click on is what you see, and then you click on, you see something else, and you click on something. So here too, you have the worldly arena. When you are working with your physical senses, you relate to the worldly arena. When you stop that and you focus within, then you have the arena of God, or the spiritual arena that you can go into. So you are not going out of the body. Okay? There's talk about out-of-body experiences, so that's what people start to think like that. It's just that the words that have been used haven't been very clear as to what is happening, because when they got translated, the meanings, when you translate from one language to another, you never get an exact word. So you have to use whatever the closest word to whatever is being said. And also, because meditation is a totally conscious process, no language in the world is adequate to explain that. Even in the Eastern language, it's not very adequate. How do you explain like something which is beyond what we experience through our senses? So no languages can explain it, because languages are only to explain whatever we experience of our senses. And I think getting a better understanding of the meditative process, that the experience is all within ourselves, that we're not going out of the body, everything is in us. It's a question of focusing our attention in that arena. That all the spiritual worlds are all within us. It's not like, we go into outer space and we go out or something. And once that's clarified, then the fear will go away. The other thing is, as we meditate, and we meditate, and even though we meditate for 10 minutes and come out of it, and you say, hey, nothing bad happened to me. Yeah? So when you meditate more, then your fear will go away also. Because as the repeatability of that experience which helps us as we go on the spiritual journey. So I would say, get a clearer understanding of what meditation is all about, and then practice, even practice for a few minutes. Start with like 15 minutes, and then slowly build up, and then you won't be afraid that something's going to happen to you, because now you've done it repeatedly. So the first time you fly, you don't know what's going to happen. The next time and a few times later, everything's very comfortable. You don't even think about it. It's just like getting on a bus and going for a bus ride. So I think if you do it more and more, then you feel comfortable with it.
How do you handle life as an introvert?
In life, we find some people are introverts, and some are extroverts, and some are introverts and extroverts at different times in their lives. Okay. If you're an introvert, it doesn't mean that you're sad. It just means that you enjoy either being with your thoughts or just being with very few people that you feel comfortable with. I think whether you're an introvert or an extrovert, as far as the meditative process is concerned, as far as meditation is concerned, it doesn't affect you. An extrovert is one who might spend their attention in meeting people. They enjoy being with people. They enjoy finding about what is happening in the world outside. An introvert might focus their attention more on their thoughts, and they might get information through reading books or being on their own, and they work with the information that they have. So their time is spent more on I would say understanding from what they've gained, then through conversations with other people, because that's what they enjoy, that's what they like to do. So in the meditative process, whether you're an extrovert who enjoy spending the time in the world outside, or you're an introvert, you need to still the mind. Okay? And so to still the mind is difficult for an extrovert and also for an introvert, because an extrovert has a lot of these interactions with the people outside, so there's a lot of relationships, and the more the relationships, the more the tension in your life, because more commotion coming in your life, you have to deal with a lot of things, so the more people you interact with, the more chances are that there'll be some difficulty here, some difficulty here. An introvert, on the other hand, is collecting all this information. They're trying to decipher in their own being. And so when they decipher in their own being, then they've got so many thoughts coming. So whatever information they get, whether they get through the net or whether they get through reading books or watching movies or whatever they do, that information needs to be processed, and when it's processed, you have thoughts. And when you have thoughts, then that becomes difficult to deal with too when you want to still the mind. So the key is to learn the techniques of stilling the mind. And those techniques are such in which you are then going to focus your mind on God. And that's where the Simran comes in. So whether you're an extrovert or an introvert, it really doesn't matter. It's how successful you are in stilling the mind. Because the people who are successful in stilling the minds are the ones whose meditations are going to be better and whose journeys are going to be easier. So the outside traits don't matter. And in the world you find people with either tendencies of being an introvert or tendencies of being an extrovert. So we're all in the same boat. It's a question of how properly can we focus our mind on God. So let's meditate for a few minutes. Please sit as comfortably as you can. Close your eyes very gently as you close them when you go to sleep. Your eyeballs should be straight. Focus 8 or 10 inches in front of you. And as you close your eyes, those of you who've been initiated in mysteries of the beyond, please do your Simran. And those of you who are new here, please repeat any name of God that you feel comfortable with. The repetition of God's name should be done mentally and not out loud. I pray to God Almighty to help each and every one of us here connect with the divine power within and to experience the divine light in His effulgence. I'll be sitting for a few minutes, and it's my prayer to the three great spiritual masters of the past century, Hazur Baba Sawan Singh Ji Maharaj, Param Sant Kripal Singh Ji Maharaj, and the gracious Master Sant Darshan Singh Ji Maharaj, to help each and every one of us connect with the divine power within and to experience the divine light in its effulgence. My best wishes are with you, and I'll be getting out of this meditation state in a few minutes. Please leave off. Please leave off.